Okay. So.
How the hell are you?
Well, welcome back to Inane Blather, where we specialize in
dead air,
and we proclaim to the world,
I'm tired of being a corporate shell.
while still ordering everything on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
How's that for a new intro?
That's good.
No,
I like it.
no,
I mean, not
no.
everything is perfect.
Stop.
So,
Okay.
that's it. That went better than the worst it could have possibly gone.
Yeah. Yep.
You're so selfish and stupid when you do that.
But anyway, actually, truly, we are...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
And that is a good thing.
Yeah.
That would be a good drop to have after that, huh? Martha Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah. I agree.
So that even if we had like a bunch of listeners, like we're so old and far out of it that people wouldn't even get it. People don't know anything about Martha Stewart except that she hung out with Snoop Dogg for some reason.
Yeah, that she smokes weed or something. And she went to jail. No, she went to prison.
No, people don't remember that if they don't remember who Martha Stewart is.
Yeah.
That was like 20 years ago.
Crazy. Martha
I don't
Stewart
know
went
how long
to
ago it
prison.
was.
What a weird thing.
Yeah. What the heck? Anyway, how's the... Like, let's talk about that for an hour.
Yeah.
How come we can send Martha Stewart
It's
to prison
crazy.
for insider trading and not Nancy Pelosi? You know?
I think we know the answer to that. Martha Stewart doesn't make the rules.
What a world.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say it's crazy.
I already
after
said
that.
it's crazy, didn't I?
I know.
Oh.
That's what... Okay,
But
no,
it was
that's
one of
fine.
those ways where we're doing the joke backwards, so it's funnier because it doesn't make as much sense.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, what's even funnier about it is that it isn't even a joke.
Yeah.
It's just a reference that's somehow funny. It isn't even a joke in the original reference.
Is that what it's called, a non sequitur?
Kind of, I think.
Or just boring?
What
No.
what language is that in? French? Latin?
Sequitur?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm an American. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Only Latin I know is e pluribus unum, which, as far as I know, means in God we trust. I saw someone
That's in my
actually
America.
unironically think that on Twitter, of course, some dumbass conservative. E pluribus unum. That's in God we... And they're like, it's printed on our money in Latin or something.
God.
And everyone's like, that's e pluribus unum, you dipshit. So, how's the weather over there? Is it unseasonably warm like it is here?
It has been unseasonably warm, which has been very pleasant, except for that fire that's still...
Oh, really?
I mean, like, it's very smoky over here, but it was oh my God, what a beautiful day. I went out on a date with a millionaire out on his boat out on the Puget Sound, and it was incredible. Yeah, it was awesome. He was really cool, too, so I had a great day. Oh, yeah, I mean, you watch these huge ferries going by.
On a boat, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not good. Not good.
I know. I set my location.
Because of the implication.
Yeah. There's nowhere to go. I set my location and all that kind of stuff. But being in the marina there, it was like in both of the marinas that we were in, oh my God, the amount of money. Those boats, like, these are real, this is like rich person
wealth.
Like, this is one, he's like, this one right here that's over $1 million, like, huge one sitting here on the, like, an end spot, like, oh my God, what a yacht. He's like, I've never seen it not here. It's always here. The guy never takes it out. And I'm like, oh my God, what a masterpiece of engineering. That's so sad. That boat.
Yeah, but that's wealth. It's like, I got a big boat. Check me out. It's like, I have a big boat that I don't even use.
I don't even think about it. It's like this thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like a toy that's like in a drawer somewhere. Like, oh yeah, and you pay however much even for the slip to have it there and stuff. Like,
it's like, I have a 13-year-old car that I can't stop thinking and worrying about every day.
Yeah. I'm concerned that I'm going to make it to the gas station.
I need something to get to work.
Yeah.
So I could pay for this house that is, 1/100th of the cost of that yacht. Yeah.
How's the
Well,
weather?
that's
Oh,
great.
season
I'm
leaving?
glad
Yeah.
you're, class trader as per usual.
Yeah, he
No,
gave me
I'm
a lot of shit about that. And he's like, "You're a real estate agent and you're an anti-capitalist." And I was like, "Well, I'm a real estate agent assistant." Yeah. I mean, I am an agent, but it's
He's
like,
so you're an anti-capitalist and just because you're a bad capitalist?
yeah, because you're bad at it. Like, yeah, I've just never cared about money. But,
That's why I'm a communist.
yeah, it has to be. Yeah, because I'm not good at money. So just I don't want things to be free for me. I just want money to not exist, so I don't ever have to worry about it. I don't want people.
Yeah,
I don't want people to
'cause
pay
it's
for
too
things
hard
for
to
me.
get.
Yes.
No.
Ugh. God, can't I just
All this
exist?
work.
I'm fun to be around. That should be enough.
Yeah.
I have to
Unironically,
contribute?
though. Unironically. It's like...
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I'm laughing, but I'm not necessarily joking.
Yeah, there we go. It's funny and true.
Funny because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And also true side by side, because
Yeah.
it's like, wow, you're not an anti-capitalist because you're not good with money or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
I'm
just
an
yet
anti-capitalist
another
because
reason.
the system makes all of us not good with money, doesn't trust us with money.
Yeah.
Well, over here it is. That drop wouldn't work. Oh man.
Headstrong. No.
Yeah. It's like, well, sitting outside.
He is cold, hollow, and violent.
I guess I don't know.
He is
I was
cold.
gonna
except
say,
for
I
it's
was like, it
unseasonably
is
warm.
cold, hollow, and violent. But I was
Yeah.
like, right as my finger hovered over it, I was like, oh, it starts with he is. I was like, weather. My old bro, the weather. He's cool.
Everyone they say,
Get it?
Brother Nature.
Especially at night. Yeah, Brother Nature. Oh my God, that has to be the title of a movie or
of
something.
this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, let me write that down. No, yeah, it's just a little warmer than it would be. It's been really, really nice.
I bet.
But
October
still just
weather
kind of
when it's
weirdly
nice over there.
warm. Just a couple days ago, and it was still like
Record
82
highs.
degrees.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 80
Or
something
it was like
next
85 on Monday. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell? I mean, I love it, but I don't like the unexpectedness
week. I don't like that
of
it's
it.
so unseasonable.
And I don't like that it's dark too early when it's warm during the day. I'm like, none of this makes any sense.
It's called climate
If
change.
it's
Look
this
it up.
warm. Yeah, if it's this warm during the day, I should be able to get off of work, go home, change my clothes, load up my old pickup truck, and go mow the church lawn. But by the time I
Yeah.
even get home and change my clothes, it's dark outside. So now I gotta change my schedule and my clothes.
In the dark.
And now, in the dark. And then I get out on the lawnmower with the headlights on. I'm like, I'm cold. Why am I wearing a tank top? It's just because it's my lawn mowing clothes. And it's
you're-
only 58 degrees outside.
And your neighbors are like, he is cold, hollow, and violent.
Yeah, they're like, don't talk to him. Well, tomorrow, I imagine it's going to be really nice and a little chilly. It gets really cold at night, like how it should.
It's
right
fall.
now in October. I mean, yeah, it's like it was like 48 degrees when I got up this morning or something. But tomorrow, no, not tomorrow night, but Saturday night. This doesn't matter because it's not like I'm going to put up this episode tonight. But Sofer Gopher and I are meeting some friends. I don't know if I sent it in the group chat, but we're going to the Water Lantern Festival. It's just this little thing going on in the park where you get tickets ahead of time, but you go in and you get the setup for a little water lantern, and they give you, it's got an LED light and this little floating thing, and you get the little sail. It's like a box. You know what those
Yeah, and you're like,
floating
hoist the
things look like.
mainstay! And like,
Yeah, and I'm like, woo! They're like, oh, mommy, what's wrong with that man? And I'm just like playing with them down at the water. I'm like, get away from me!
Yeah.
I'm playing! No, but Sophie's just sitting in the truck waiting to go home.
typical Doug.
But no, and yeah, you decorate them however you want, and you set them all out. But there's food trucks and vendors and swag to be had and giveaways and live music going on, I guess. So it should be really neat. We're going with some friends, and that's about all that's happening in my life, I feel like.
Cool.
Besides, you know, I mean, the most important thing right now, which is sports. No.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, let's just talk about sports.
That's what people want to hear.
Yeah, when people listen to leftists talk, they want to hear about the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's setting up fantasy basketball league. The Mariners are in the playoffs. Football is going on. No one cares about that. Although, actually, that could be something we'd talk about if we either one of us was following along with football much this year. I know that I'm not, but I can already tell when, because I follow a lot of sports accounts, of course. That's like half of my Twitter, and the other is just raving lunatic leftists and transgender activists. But now after it was week 1 or something. I don't know if you heard of what's his name, Tua, the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Was hit really hard, and it seemed like he had an obvious concussion, and he somehow passed the protocols and was put back in the game, and then was absolutely demolished after that. Like, at first they thought that he had broken his hand, but it was just how your hands go, like when you have severe brain damage.
Oh.
Yeah, like his hands like curled up and stuff, like, and so people were talking about how this horrible like, I mean, it feels like...
Is that what John Oliver's talking about? Like, like how we're watching people kill each other on TV
he mentioned just a joke about brutalizing concussions in NFL, but it just keeps happening, because I don't even have to watch the games. I just go into Twitter, and people are just tweeting just short things like, when are they going to do something about this, or this can't keep going on. Yeah, stuff like that, where it's no hashtag NFL, no link to the game, anything like that. I'm like, oh my God, there's another bad hit or something. It's like someone's going to die on the field. And, it's so funny how, I mean, in the grand scheme of things and stuff, American football is not an important thing. But
obviously,
it's such a gigantic part of American culture and a huge money-making machine that if things really, like, systemic change to the sport, like, I mean, that's a big deal. It's like there's so much money tied up in it. So much, I mean, like, kids are playing football and eventually, playing football in high school and maybe going to college or going pro and changing the lives of their families. Systemic racism leads to poverty that only some can get out of via professional sports. So if you're a leftist who talks shit about sports, you're racist. That's all I'm saying. No.
Hey, Tucker Carlson. No.
Well, you know what? What do you think? LeBron would just be a statistic by now, all right? Growing up in Akron with a single mother.
He's a statistic of a different kind. Yeah.
Yeah, now he's got the statistics of he'll be the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. And he's a billionaire.
He's got a bunch of stats. Yeah.
But
I think that a thought I had today was that, how they have, like, when you think, okay, you say communism or socialism, and people think of these, like, impoverished countries that are really either like authoritarian dictatorships or just a total misunderstanding of people's actual experiences in these countries. And then I was thinking, you know what's a great example of capitalism is America. Is that
Wow,
as an example
really?
of capitalism? No, but like a system of
yeah, if you're in the communist country, you'd be like,
Yes.
what, you want to be like the United States?
And that's
just
what
like how
communist-
Tucker Carlson will incredulously say, what, you want to be like Venezuela?
Yes, exactly. Though it's like
Wow.
look at America, and that's what communists and they all say that kind of stuff. But it's like, but this is
That's
capitalism.
funny.
Look at our school system. Look at our prison system. Look at our healthcare system. Look at people killing themselves for a sport so they can make money. So they're back at all of these things. That is what capitalism looks like. It looks like America, and nothing can be a pure form. Of course, it's not pure capitalism. We have social, of course, just like communism.
But we
all
are
these
the
things.
only country on planet Earth where you can lose your home from medical debt.
Yes, but yeah, exactly. There's these other things where and every politician talks about the economy. Like this guy I went on the date with today, he's not from the United States, and it's another person that, like, coming to the United States and just seeing, oh my God, just how incredibly
Shitty? No.
Yes, I mean hypocritical and shitty it is. Just like how like the basic necessities and things that are illegal in other countries are not like elections and stuff. Like election like gerrymandering and putting money into elections and stuff and all of that. It's like, and I kept telling him, I'm like, because he was like socialism and stuff, and I was like, because it comes down to money, because that is America. It is corporations. It is capitalism. That's what America looks like. Hyper individualism after the almighty dollar. That's capitalism, and that is America. That's our mainstream. The ideology in America that we're like born into is capitalism. Like,
man,
and
imagine how cool and enjoyable sports would be if we lived in a communist society.
where people
We
would do it
wouldn't
for the
lose
fun
sports.
of it.
It would be amazing. We'd have the most amazing athletes. They wouldn't have sponsorships on their fucking jerseys that everyone freaks out about every year, and it looks stupid. You wouldn't have, Maxi Tampon Stadium or whatever.
Smoothie King Arena? Give me a break.
There's some bad ones. Oh, man.
So stupid.
And it's like, and even the ones that, I even get upset when it's like, what the fuck? They renamed the Staples Center? It's like, I know that was... that was a corporate tie-in that's just happened to be in for a long time, but at least it sounded good. Like, what the fuck? I still don't even remember what it's called. It's like,
I don't know.
Oh, no, I think it might be like a crypto thing. Oh my God, I can't remember. Yeah, it's like, I don't even want to know. It's Staples Center. And I'm sure it's like, and people before, where they played before was just called the Forum. It wasn't a sponsored thing. It was a different stadium.
Yankee Stadium was owned by the Yankees, but
it's like the only thing like that.
Yeah, it just seems like, as an example, like if you're pointing to examples of communism or socialism that's being done, I just think that if you point to America and be like, this is what capitalism looks like, what does it look like? It looks very unequal. It looks like not a good system where it's like, if you're saying that 40 or 50 or 99% of the people can't get to this certain amount, why would that be a good basis for a society?
Exactly. It's like, well, don't worry. We also put an entire 1% of the population in prison as well. So don't worry.
And then there's a bunch more that are just homeless as well. So.
Yeah. Don't worry. They said don't worry. It doesn't matter. They're like nobody. Yeah. It's not a problem at all.
So that was my thought.
And scene.
Yeah, but and someone else's scene. But I don't want to just keep bringing it back to sports as it halfway as a joke, but I do stand by my thing that we need more sports ball representation on the left. And maybe if we can get good analogies going or something. I don't know.
That if you can think of
championing
athletes
the human spirit.
artists using their bodies as their art
and imagine,
form. Like, they are
do you think,
unbelievable.
And,
You know what?
but do you think that if people didn't have to pay $200 to go sit in a shitty plastic seat and pay $20 for a beer while the person on the court plays basketball for a living and makes $40 million a year doing it, do you think that if that wasn't the case, there might be less people yelling racial slurs courtside and
I think there would be fewer people, not less.
No, well, yeah, because right now they are less people. They aren't as people as we are. So, no, it's less. I mispronounced it. It's le people. But
Le people.
less peoples. No, but yeah, there would be fewer people just in that mindset of actually we went over it on the last one, that entitlement mindset where I'm paying money so you do what I say, like it's legitimately believed. That happens from the lowest level to the highest, like where people, it's like they legitimately think, yeah, I can say as much shit as I want to a professional athlete because I paid to be here. That's my job. I'm the fan. And that comes up every once in a while. I mean, there were a couple people that got banned for life in Salt Lake City, for calling Russell Westbrook the N-word or something like that. And there's a couple of things. And it was still an actual discussion where it's like, well, what the heck, like, you can't handle it, the trash talk, then why you're already getting paid $30 million to play a game and stuff. It's like
you can be paid.
Imagine if none of this was a conversation at all. It doesn't matter at all. But if none of this was even a conversation, like it I don't know. It's just, my point is, as soon as money's gone, it's a literal utopia and everyone gets along.
And and it'll be so easy. Just, you know what I wrote down? Everyone will get along just immediately. Just like, no more money, guys, everything's free. And it'll be
like,
just immediate.
We'll perfect, just start sucking and fucking.
Orgies, orgies and drugs. We're like, this is what we're waiting for. But I wrote down, money has no substance and no value, which I thought was funny because it is
no value.
Yeah, it's like valueless unless you ascribe it a value.
Even though it's the placeholder and marker of value in our system. And it is the only value.
Yeah. So I mean, but it has no substance to it. It's like a placeholder. And that's exactly what I understand the reasoning behind capitalism, in the way that people want like a sense of justice and balance, and like, like you give and receive, and like, you're not being taken advantage of, because people are sensitive to that. We're aware of people around us, like our lives are other people. So I understand wanting a placeholder and like to be able to objectively sort of see an exchange. So I can see why like socialism and like how socialism is sort of a meeting of communism, which is very, in my mind, like an ideal to strive towards a total evolution of like a society towards a different understanding of what it means to live together.
Unattainable goal, but it's almost like a valuable thought experiment.
Yes,
and like something to strive towards, because that's a marker of a better society.
Yeah, and like the underpinning sort of like value belief system that everyone sort of has is like communism is like life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and every man being created equal. Like that's the whole sort of thing of it. It's like so
communism is Thomas Jefferson, really. No.
You know what? I was thinking communism, for me, it always comes back to sex.
What?
Is that, people, it's like competition drives innovation, and people are doing better when you're competing. Have you ever had sex with anybody? It's like, you're not competing.
Like
you're working
sports.
as a motherfucking team. When you're working as a team, sometimes it can make you come. Come on.
No,
like, what's better
sex
than that?
is way more fun when it's a competition. See, you don't know the male perspective, all right? It's a competition. It's a competition, really. And I'm trying to get 1,000 signatures.
A competition.
Yeah, I'm just outside of a Marshall's with a clipboard that just says "come" on it. I'm like, will you sign?
Signature.
Yeah, it's a competition. They're like, well, what's the? Why are you wearing a singlet and holding a javelin? Oh, sports.
Yeah. I'm a liberal. This is what I think sports are.
Hello. Because I couldn't dye my hair blue in time. Okay. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. Everything is about sex to you. Okay, groomer. But anyway.
No, it's about, that's like the ultimate, like if you have people together, like in more than one person, that's like a very intense example in a lot of ways of like the intimacy between people and what can be shared, and the intensity of pleasure and satisfaction that you can gain by working with someone else.
True intimacy, true partnership and teamwork. Compromise is like a bad word for it, but it's like you're giving up something of yourself to make the sum greater than the total of its parts, or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, because
so
you're
are
getting
they.
back from them, and they're giving to you, and it's like it's a snake eating itself, or whatever. Yeah, or that, or something eating something.
Yeah, it's a snake going down on a crocodile or something like that. But
that's it's an African proverb. It doesn't translate exactly. So
South African. Yeah. Post-apartheid. But
yeah, I think it was Elon Musk that said it. Something.
Yeah, I think it was when Elon Musk was talking about Antwoord, but yeah, just
or sports.
I mean,
sports
that's
are cool
a vulnerability, but
dead air.
But I was just gonna say, it's like I can't even formulate that correctly right now. I don't know if I want to go down that path. So my synapses are already fizzling with excitement. No,
Yeah.
my brain waves are just wobbling.
Fizzle your synapses, if you know what I'm saying.
I'd like to fizzle her synapses.
Woo, yeah. Get those electromagnetic pulses.
Personal massager. Oh, anyway.
It's like, no, I don't know what you're saying.
What the fuck? Stop. You're fucking annoying me.
Well, then
He talks to me like that.
So I only wrote a couple things down, and then I was like, oh, a couple of these were because I was thinking of sports and trying to how to cross this stuff over. But I also wrote, I forget why I was thinking about this. Maybe it was just arguing with a boomer or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
It's very cringe when you do that.
But
Son.
Seems pretty satanic.
But I don't have any new drops this week. I have a bunch linked on my phone, and I hadn't made them. A bunch. Hey,
B-O-N.
So before I go to the other thing that I wrote down, what? What are you laughing at?
Because I'm high.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. How about them drugs, huh? Bo Jiden
did some work.
Done some stuff. Of course, it's the bare fucking minimum.
Hey,
but
you know what? It's not nothing though. And remember, we said do something.
It's good to be cynical about it and see it as because he's saving the actual descheduling for a more opportune political time.
Because it's not about doing the right thing. It's about doing it politically.
Yeah, which whatever. I guess that's why we have you politicians, but. It's like, I hope that cynical view of it is correct so that you're actually going to fucking do something at some point. I'd rather he did it now before the midterms and just deschedule marijuana than think, well, use this for 2024 campaign fodder. It's like, you'll do it in 2024 when you've already lost the fucking House and Senate or some bullshit like that, and then everyone's
And all of
screaming at
that,
you, and it all goes
when-
to the Supreme Court.
When they're talking about waiting for stuff like this, and when they're waiting for politically advantageous, thank you, moments to do this, what they're doing is like they're affecting people's lives in a very, very, very real way.
Yeah.
These people that are pardoned would be staying in prison for longer if they're just waiting for this time. Like when you're talking about playing with pawns, that's like exactly what they're doing. These people that are sitting for
pawns
no
are people.
good. Yeah, pawns are people too. Like these are
#pawns are people.
And they're actual people. These are people's brothers. These are people's mothers. I mean, they're someone in someone's life whose life has been absolutely devastated, and then it's because of
Probably could have ruined their children's lives.
Yeah, people commit suicide in prison, like it's not a good place to be. And even when you get out, even after all this, there's so much stuff you have to go through. Like, I mean, being pardoned is one thing, but like,
sorry, as a side note, I just thought of the tweet that I saw the other day where it was like, someone's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know people can get so depressed that they don't even brush their own teeth. And it's like, some people get so depressed that they kill themselves, Susan.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Okay, but yeah, on top of the fact that, unfairly distributing these sentences on the basis of class or race, and that like 1 in 5, or whatever. It's like, yeah, 1 in 16 or 1 in 17 black young Americans has a parent in prison. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what
America.
the fuck?
That's America right there. That's capitalism and America. Same difference.
But yeah, I mean,
in a private prison.
I was thinking of exactly that, kind of what you were talking about, except better, because I was thinking it.
Mm-hmm. And well, sure, you're a man.
No, just it's science.
Bigger brain.
But
yeah.
A brain only the third of the size of ours. It's science. But no, just today, someone had just coming across a comment, because I spend all my time in comment sections and replying on Twitter.
Terminally online.
Yeah, it's really funny how online I am, and then I realize it's like, man, some people are way further gone than me. It's like, I have like a family and a job.
You leave your house to go to work. Yeah, you have friends. You mow a lawn. You don't live in an apartment.
I mow like 3 lawns. All right, okay.
You have 2 dogs.
That's when I spend a lot of time online listening to YouTube. No, but anyway. Just coming across, the comment that you see every once in a while from what you usually assume is like a teenager, honestly. But the same mindset keeps going on or comes back to people. I can think of my ex-wife or something, just as a normal person.
My bitch wife.
No, I don't have the drop. No, but
it's a drop. It's a reference, guys.
But the comment today was just like, yeah, but politics just sucks. Politics is boring. It's the same stuff that comes up, and then the people on the right have their reaction, and then the people on the left have to have their opposite reaction, and that's it every time. And just reading it like that, it's like, but you only think that because it's not personally affecting you, that as far as you know. It's like, oh, it's just politics. Tell that to a fucking transgender person that gets arrested because they went into the wrong bathroom, or like a kid that can't get the proper medication because of our for-profit healthcare system,
or like women who can't get abortions,
or a black teenager shot in the back by the police or something. Like, you know what? That is politics too. Like,
women
politics is not boring.
Scheduled to go, and then they have to be canceled, and their lives are completely turned upside down. Is that boring to you? People's lives being ruined?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that say about you?
Politics
this is not
life.
Politics. This is like human rights and stuff, and also politics is boring. What do you call the Civil Rights Act? That's boring to you. This progress, what do you call gay marriage and marriage equality? That's boring. Women's ability to vote, that's fucking boring to you. It's just because people are so incredibly privileged and also in denial and ignorant.
Yeah, no, I would say, or just because of how it's funny because let's say this straw man person that I'm imagining anyway, but that is saying, well, politics is boring. It's always the same crap, and they don't care about us, and everyone just has their viewpoints, and no one gets along. Yada yada.
Not true.
And it's like, well, what about the '60s? What about the Civil Rights Act? What about this and that? And they say, well, that's different. The world isn't like that anymore. And it's like,
thank God, because of those things happened.
No, but I mean, like political vitriol, or just. It's just an end of history mindset, and it's like, well, things are still like that. Things are still, life is going on.
I agree.
Okay,
Ever
you
heard
just
of the
don't
Me Too
realize
fucking
it.
Movement?
Yeah, something like that. We just pulled out of a 20-year war in Afghanistan. Like, stuff is still happening, and like to think, it was different then because you read about it in the history books. But right now, while we're in the moment, it's already harder to grasp what kind of history is being made as you're living it, right? But I think that the way that we consume our media, the way that political media is, and 24-hour news, and the way that news is disseminated, the way how much we cannot possibly trust so much of the news or the people in charge, like it really leads easily to having that viewpoint. Like, why even think about it? I mean, because even if you can come to the realization on your own or learn from someone that, oh yeah, politics is important, it's just not affecting me. Well, if it's not affecting me, why the fuck should I even think about it? Because it's just gross. Like, no one's gonna do us any favors. That's the thing. Like John Oliver said, I can't remember the quote, but I just saw it today on Twitter because people were discussing John Oliver. But yeah, it's like systemic change isn't just allowed to happen. Like, you have to make it happen. Like, things,
it's intentional.
These important things. Yeah, exactly. Like, the fact, any systemic change, like even in like broad terms, it is the system. It is made to not change. It is how things work.
The default.
If you're talking about capitalism or our system of like not too great democracy or whatever you might be talking about, like it exists because it is made not to exist as something else. It's not supposed to change unless you force it to. It's a
self-perpetuating system. Yeah. And it's like the attitude of, if it doesn't affect you, it's really interesting to me, and I think it's whatever. I've read a lot of books, and I really like other perspectives. I know. I'm a nerd like that. Yeah. So sue me.
Okay, Natalie.
Thanks.
You little bitch.
But like how I feel almost like, I guess this is sort of what would be like white guilt and stuff. Like, I feel like I sort of owe it to other people to try to see their perspective and see from like how other people are living, because I have the privilege of not having to experience that. I don't have to watch The Wire and see the horrible things that are realities for people. If I don't want to, I can choose to be away from that, and I don't like to choose that. I want to know the reality behind statistics. I want to have an attitude of compassion and understanding for these other people, and it's more intense of a way to live your life, because then you are thinking about how your actions affect other people.
And yeah, that does suck.
Yeah, and so then you have to be sort of aware, and then you have to be sort of held
in my life
to kind of the standards of who you think you are as a person. And you're kind of like, am I acting in a way that is in line with my values and my beliefs? To the degree, no one's like, you don't have to go out and live in the middle of the woods and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, people that don't want to talk about that, that's willful ignorance. right there. They don't want to hear the icky stuff because it's hard. It's like, well, it's hard to hear all that. It's like, yeah, imagine living it. These are people's lives that you're talking about. Like, really try to put yourself in these positions, and how would you want people to be feeling about you if you were this person who couldn't pay your fucking utility bills? You have your lights turned off, you've got kids, and you're working hard. And you want people to say that you're just not working hard enough, that there must be something wrong with you because you're poor? Yeah, like, is that the way that we should be talking about? Obviously, it's not the way we should be talking about people. If you read the Bible, well, some of the Bible, if you read some specific parts, it says be nice to each other.
If you want to cherry pick it the way that I do, it's pretty fucking based, honestly, the whole book.
Yeah, I think Jesus seems like a cool
I have
bro.
to cut out a lot of stuff, but my Cliff Notes is a communist manifesto of sorts. But well, you take that and get rid of your attitude of
everyone is stupid except me,
and empathize with those people with those really bad ideologies and takes. It's tough. It's really tough.
I mean, I try to. It's
no,
like,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, I have my set of values because I feel like I do because I try to expend mental energy on empathy or really, critically thinking about how the world works and how things are for people.
Too,
and that's what I hate about blank ideologies, take on society. I hate that because they obviously don't put in that thought that I do, right?
Critical
That's
thinking.
why I disagree with these people on the right. But you have to empathize with those people on the right and see how they got there if we want to change anything about them. Or we can go with my idea and have, they're like, they'd have to relearn things, right? So we have these like camps we can send them to.
Where they can really focus?
Yeah.
Focus
they
camps.
can really concentrate on, on empathy and stuff. They could be re-educated.
Told me,
we nationalize all this stuff. We expropriate all of these giant symbols of wealth. So we have all these stadiums and stuff like that.
Oh my God. No, I remember we were talking once and I was saying, like, we could cure
Why do you think I have a mustache? No, I'm just kidding.
Because racism and sexism, all that, it just comes from ignorance. Like, we could cure these problems, like these mental disorders that we have as a society of these hierarchies, blah, 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 whatever. We were talking about that, and I was like, I could write that in my Washington Post op-ed about curing racism, and you did the title. You were like,
oh, yeah.
Why won't we cure racism? Why Soviet-style re-education camps are actually patriotic.
Yeah, exactly. It's for the good of the country.
Don't quote me on that, though.
But it's like, seriously, like, how do you get, like, a mass amount of people to learn, like, to level up collectively quickly, like, to get on the same page as other, some, not exactly, because we're not exactly, like, you can't, with, like, as other countries who've done it for
means.
30 years.
Yeah.
Because how did Finland do it? How did these other countries do this? Because they just started with a different basis, because they didn't start, because they're not capitalist countries.
Well,
they're
they are.
Socialist. I mean, they have capitalism, but it's like, because the entire world is capitalism. How could you have one country? It's worldwide, multinational, all these economics intertwined across the entire globe. Of course, you can't just be a communist country and, like, that's how trade works nowadays. But they have as their baseline for their society an actual, like, society in mind. We just have individuals trying to get rich. That is the American dream.
Bringing... that we joke about just forcing people to learn our state-approved ideology, because we're totalitarian Stalinist leftists, but, as a joke. But the way...
Some people need a nanny. That's what the nanny state comes in.
But the way to... they're like, well, that's fair, but it doesn't really make sense. Welfare, but but the to try to get more and more people on your side, you know what that takes? Politics. And actually, it's funny. I that's one thing that I did since our last podcast is I got to have a nice, a good old hearty discussion with our relative that as he says, I only listen to alternative media, okay? Just I don't go on Facebook. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just like, well, that's that doesn't mean anything. But either way, we have pretty healthy debates and discussions because, we talked about socialism a lot, and he used to be quite a hippie, right? I mean, literally growing up in the 60s in San Francisco. Yeah. Okay. And just, I mean, you get propagandized through this stuff, but is still kind of a smart guy. And he said, gosh, it's when he was, he said back in college, it was a poli-sci professor or something, but he had said, no matter who's doing it, whether it's right-leaning authoritarian fascists or leftist activists or whatever it might be, it's all about, groups, right? You're never going to be able to do something to the entire populace, even through strict authoritarian means, which would be like the only way. But politics, it's all about groups. And he's like, it was something, he made this analogy. I wish I remembered it. I told him, I was like, I'm going to bring that up on the podcast. And I said, but it was about, groups are the raw materials, right, of this project, of this society you're building. Like, because just a scattered, you have all the same materials, but a scattered pile of bricks isn't anything, but you trying to make it into a wall for a house, But yeah, it's all about, I don't know. It just seems like an unending cycle. Like when the weird thing about having lofty idealist goals is kind of definitionally you're looking at an end result. There's never an end result, Life continues to move one day at a time, people are born and die. And so none of this matters. Right? I'm quitting the podcast. Goodbye. And yeah. Because I didn't have any applause. So. But when
I was on acid, thinking about the cycle of capitalism and getting out of it, I was like,
he's the real deal.
It was way too late. But okay. But so you're on acid. So it was what, yesterday? You druggy head?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. So
I haven't done acid in a while, but
yeah. It's not an everyday kind of drug.
It's really not. I mean, you can do small amounts is way different.
Oh yeah,
but if
yeah.
you take,
I'm just joking around.
I mean, some people take a lot. I've only taken a full tab is the most I've taken it once, and it's pretty intense for me. But it was cool. But also thinking about capitalism and like how the fuck do we get out of it? The intensity of like. Knowing and feeling all of the connections and how the foundation of our entire worldwide society is built on these sort of the capitalist principles, and but it was scary, but also it was feeling like just little by little you have seeds of change, that's like, I think I might have actually talked about this in one of our first ones, but anyways, that it will change because someone had the idea about it changing. Because people are talking about that there are different ways to do things. That's like talking about intentional change and all of that. It might not be exactly like
if no one
communism
if no one voices an alternative in any way, whether it's implemented or not. But if no one talks about it, does that alternative even exist?
That's exactly...
It's Schrodinger's politics.
I feel like ideas are out there and people don't really like make anything up. They just realize how things can be.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Okay, I remember you saying
they're
that.
for having,
Yeah.
like the ideas are, I mean, like those things, if it's a possibility, it exists sort of like, and people can just have these understandings in a new way. And yeah, that's why that's why, you know what? That's why this podcast is so important that we're doing. We're spreading the good news, everyone.
Where is oh man, I was gonna say, and that's why we'll go over what you had sent us, but I can't find the link. What was that? Was that you just sent me? That
About what?
with like quantum physics proved that reality
yeah.
doesn't exist locally
Like
in
real,
the universe.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, at first, I mean, it was really interesting when I could almost grasp it through the first couple paragraphs. And then, I mean, it was still interesting just like reading the words. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. It's like, I really am not grasping this, but it's cool that people know this, you know? But, but it's funny. It's like, as I'm reading about it, it was almost like, I just don't quite get, I think I'm getting my head around this. Wait, do I want to realize this? Do I want to know this? I don't even want to like completely have this realization about, you know, like this cross section of like, it's like philosophy and physics together, I guess,
science.
is a lot of quantum physics, but it's creepy. Creeps me out.
It's when you're on acid and you like these things that you know, like if you know some stuff about science and you know a lot of and you've thought about some of these things and cosmic whatever, the profound intensity of like the understandings of these things that you're like, you are sort of grasping these concepts of infinity and things. I would just really highly recommend it for people who are in a space where they can intentionally do drugs like that in a good, you know, with like intention with it and not just doing it and being afraid.
I've had all those
blah.
realizations just with a bunch of mouthwash and NyQuil. It doesn't matter, you don't know. I had my face down on the cold bathroom floor thinking about infinity as I was half puking, laughing, and crying at the same time. No, but
sounds
it was awesome.
Healthy.
Not good.
But no, yeah, exactly. And I've never taken LSD, but yeah, I mean,
cool.
mushrooms. I've had some pretty far out and existential. I mean, it's funny how it's like far out, like what a term that is. It's like, but some of these things, that's like literally the way that you can describe how you felt. Like I was out there. I was out. I was not here. I was
here.
Far out there, out in the universe, like literally.
But it's also like, it's like everything. Like you are, and it is, and everything just.
Well, this whole okay.
So
this is where I can. Where I was kind of grasping it is when they're doing the introduction in this article. But so one of the more, and I'm glad that they feel the way that I do, it's that it's unsettling. But it's funny that they won Nobel Prize, right, on this research. But one of the more unsettling discoveries in the past half century is that the universe is not locally real. Real, meaning that objects have definite properties independent of observation. An apple can be read even when no one is looking. And local, meaning objects can only be influenced by their surroundings, and that any influence cannot travel faster than light. Investigations at the frontiers of quantum physics have found that these things cannot both be true. Instead, the evidence shows objects are not influenced solely by their surroundings, and that they may also lack definite properties prior to measurement. As Albert Einstein famously bemoaned to a friend, quote, "Do you really believe the moon is not there when you are not looking at it?" And and
so when a tree falls in the forest,
it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like that, but proving it, I don't want to go there.
Like, wait, what?
No, life's too short. I don't want to have these realizations. Like,
yeah, but I
ignorance
feel like
is
if
truly
there's something
bliss. No.
yeah, if there's something to be known, then why not know it? Like, it's there and it is.
Oh,
so
you're a real go-getter,
It is
huh?
what it is.
Jeez.
I mean, if it
So he's
if
proactive.
it is, then yeah, it would be nice to know about it so you can know as much as you can. So then, because you will die someday, so why not just have your brain just stuffed full and leaking out your ears
Yeah.
with junk and knowledge that you doesn't matter because you're
I don't
gonna
know.
die.
Sounds a little self-centered to me. No.
Yeah, it is because I'm the center of the universe.
They discovered that reality does not exist locally in the universe, and we decided it doesn't matter at all. It's not
At
a
all.
problem. It means
just said,
nothing.
yeah.
They said I could just go home.
Yeah.
So
At all.
And
Yeah, that was a Scientific American article. Give it some credit.
So it's
show it some respect.
It's the dumbed down stuff for us, and I could not comprehend anything past the third
The
paragraph.
one Douglas Adams joke.
Yeah, as soon as we finished the Douglas Adams thing, I was like, wow, so how do they prove this? It's like, oh yeah, this is... Even the simplified version does not... I mean, it would be really interesting to learn, but not knowing anything about quantum physics going in, like, I'm like, whoa, I don't get it.
Really get... That's what makes me so, like, when people are anti-science... I used to work at a research lab.
Yeah.
And they're...
Chemical weapons.
Yeah, of course.
Cyclone B.
I have all kinds of state secrets. It's like these people really put the work in. They're really making these experiments. Like, it's so incredibly dry and smart and like technical. Like, for people to be like, I did my own research.
Yeah.
It's just...
And it's like, I can go into one of these being like, well, I'm not an idiot, but at least I know it's like, I'm not smart enough for this. Like,
you don't have the foundation of knowledge to draw from to make all the conclusions, like
Exactly.
to make the connections. Your synapses just it's too much of a leap
the
between
fact
things
that
because
people
you don't have...
I know were talking about how they read like the scientific like reports of the vaccines and like the ingredients and looked up all that. I'm like, even
No,
if you did, which I know you, and you didn't do that, even if you did, what does that mean? Like, you and I both couldn't even tell you if something's good or bad when we're reading the ingredients on a shampoo bottle. You know, like,
Yeah.
and you're like, you don't even
Tell me the
know how
difference
these
between a
work.
cold and the flu, motherfucker. Like, you don't know.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, you think that, there's the 24-hour flu exists. That's not a thing. Like,
my thing about anti-climate change people who like think that they
Like
know
me?
about climate science, weather or whatever.
I'm really
like you.
against
I'm
climate
like,
change.
Yeah. I'm like, explain to me what wind is, and then maybe we can talk about climate change. If you can explain to me what wind is, then maybe you know something about weather. But if you don't, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know anything. I don't know what wind is. That's why I let scientists tell me, because I'm like, I don't what pressure? So probably barometers somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, these are people who actually know what they're talking about. You're an accountant. What the fuck do you know about, like...
You work at
global
AutoZone.
weather patterns.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
all for
like-
class solidarity, but you're not a scientist, bro.
Yeah. Like, you're an idiot.
bitch.
No.
Yeah.
No, not an idiot. You just don't
Bruh.
know, like...
No, but they
you
are,
could-
and so are
how
we.
could you possibly
That's the
think
thing. When it
that-
comes to these
Oh,
things,
yeah.
we are idiots. It's like no one wants to admit it.
Well, we're just ignorant.
Like,
and people that think that they know better are the idiots. People that know that they're stupid idiots are actually the smart ones. So
I
we're
used to be a climate
brilliant.
denier. You know that? Totally.
No.
I totally got bamboozled and snookered. Or what? That's not the right word, but billiard balled.
Propagandized too?
Yeah, no. And just looking back on it, it's like, man, how easy that was when I'm not the stupidest person on the block. That's for sure. I'm not an idiot.
I think,
but
people who also,
when I was 21 or 22, like, you talked with authority and seemed to give sources and stuff and had a YouTube video explaining why it didn't make sense. And I believed all that stuff about, that all they have to do is just fucking lie to you, for one thing, right? And if they lie to you why wouldn't you believe it? And so it's like, I believed that volcanoes put out more CO2 than cars did, and stuff like that.
They said it.
Or even boiling it down to the simple, simplifying it makes it make sense for a person, and then they believe it. And that happened to me, and I would argue about that. And then you learn from it, and you have to admit that you were wrong, and and you have to have some sort of deference to actual subject matter experts. That's how the world works. Like, I have a business degree that
oh yeah, you're an economist.
yeah, I'm an economist, and in some of my project management knowledge deals with subject matter experts. It's a very important thing. Other people know more than you about certain things. That's just a fucking fact. That's how the world works.
Would there be mechanics? Why would there be doctors? Why would there be hairstylists if everyone knew everything about everything?
And there's a lot to be said about skepticism as a process, of course.
Critical thinking, that's what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Skepticism and critical thinking is good, but part of that is, there's no point to it if you have no trust in experts, for one thing.
And that's...
all you should have to do for your own, like, all you should have to do...
Exactly.
Everyone is stupid except me.
Doug he's the real deal.
But not the validity of what they're saying, but the validity of their expertise. Like the fact that they have done the research. Just, it's like, you want to simplify it to make someone understand it. It's like, yeah, you expect to get the fucking quarter pounder with the ingredients on it as they're supposed to go when you ask the person and give them the money at McDonald's, because that's what they do. And you just inherently trust that is the process, You don't just get it. No, you don't get it back and be like, no, this isn't right. No, it is right. That they're the ones who make it, not you. You're the customer, okay? Anyway, just go.
Yeah,
but either way,
customer.
It's good to get that off my chest. All right, everyone, all these thousands of people listening, I learned from my mistakes. I used to be a privileged white libertarian climate change denier. But
that's because you used to have way more severe depression too, and that's something that can't be ignored. Is that people that are seriously conspiratorial and not willing to listen to other authority figures are looking for something because they have trauma.
Yeah,
like because they're not trusting, and like they have people. That's why they fall into
trusting,
gangs, or that's why they get indoctrinated into things because they've been burned by whatever. So many.
If your life has sucked so far, then why would you have trust in the institutions that have been a part of your life? So
and it can really color like depression and different kinds of like whatever headspace people are in can really color like what you're paying attention to or what you're focusing on and like directing your anger towards and like what you're actually able to see as the problems, like because you build up denials and so it's like easy prey for like young men who have issues, like who need a place to, like, they have anger and just like these different things built up and they have no place to put it, and because of toxic masculinity and lack of access to therapy and all this kind of stuff, that's what people go towards. And there's like a lot of anger and all that conspiracy theory, like whatever world, it's all just, it's like outrage about everything. People are lying to you constantly. It's such a paranoid like headspace to be in. People are out to get you and to like, it's really unhealthy.
There is a thin,
in a big way.
There's a thin but very real line between paranoia and skepticism, right? And like you said, if we treated skepticism as critical thinking, as it should be, instead of just not trusting anything. Like,
instead of Tucker
that's
Carlson.
not what skepticism is.
On 30 Rock, Jenna, she's like, she overhears people talking about her and they call her paranoid. She's like, paranoid? Well, that confirms all my suspicions.
I love that fucking joke so much.
That's such a
I was
good
trying to think
joke.
of that
Oh
the
my
other
God.
day. I forget what it was, and I could not think of it. I was like, Natalie has said this before. So it makes me laugh every time. That it's very,
And it makes me laugh.
Very clever. You know, it's funny. Now
It
it's
is.
already an hour plus, and it's like, and we didn't get to the thing that I had written down here, so that's nice. We totally blathered. And
Inanely, I would say.
we blathered.
And scene. Don't quote me on that, though.
So since we it's kind of funny. I wrote this down because I thought it was funny just asking the question because we are not experts. But I was like, you know, how did it? Oh my
what?
gosh! I wish I could explain it better. Why did I write it down like this? Might there
What did you
be
write
just we are where we are partly because there might be a cumulative negative effect on America's cognitive capabilities due to all of the bad shit, quote, lead, pollution, opioid abuse, etc., or cell phones, lol, and obesity. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, because it's funny, it's like,
It's called cause and effect.
we're all moving forward and stuff. Yeah, but it's like, well, would we know? Like, we don't know, taken as a whole, like our national intelligence or our capability as humans.
I think we do, and it's not.
Well,
good.
we
Oh.
can't possibly know where it could or should be. We only know what it is.
What it is?
Like IQ, right? Is 100. Is just an average of everything within the system. There's nothing to measure it against, right? Except itself.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, what if it's just, I mean, all this stuff that we know is bad and probably, like I said, things that we don't know yet, LOL, cell phones, it's like just making us dumber or something. Like literally from holding them up to our heads. I don't know. Yeah, it's not, yeah, you didn't lose any more brain cells than one night of heavy drinking or 5 minutes on a cell phone, you know? It's
Yeah.
Futurama. But
Yeah, it's unintended consequences of the things that as we try to manipulate our environment. Like what we don't know what will happen. We can make good guesses, but
we talk about
we can't see the
like,
future.
man, all of the missed potential because of capitalism or something, you know, and you can apply that line of thinking to so many things. You can bring it back to sports. People always talk about that, like, man, what if baseball wasn't segregated and all that stuff back then? Like, would Babe Ruth even be like a Hall of Fame player if they let black people play, you know, or people from other countries? Yeah. Things like sports, or we're missing out on all the art and music that could have been made, the writings,
Women
and
voters.
Yeah, because we keep people out either explicitly or just as a result of systemic oppression. But it's like, man, just our output and our innovation as the human race, or especially as Americans, like, what else is going on? I mean, I had really thought of it because of opioid abuse, like how prevalent it is, how many people have died, and it's like, and what other things has it done to us, like on the whole as a country? Like, it is probably
it's lowered our life
expectancy because people are dying. It hurts financially in all these different areas, and there's got to be something like it has hurt us cognitively, like. It hurts our system of education. It hurts because of how kids can't grow up in a stable environment and this and that because of opiates.
I think it hurts because it makes us apathetic towards drug users because
Yeah,
it becomes
things
so
like that
commonplace
too.
and like
Oh,
our
man.
social
How we
consciousness and
treat
being less
homeless people.
empathetic.
unhoused. But yeah, all right, fine, we're canceled. But yeah, the opiates is what had brought it to mind. I remember when I was writing this down, when I was trying to better myself. I was walking back home from the gym. I haven't been there in a few days, but no. Or obesity. Like, not just obesity itself, but no, the culture of how horribly we live our lives in America. The fact that I have to go to a fucking gym, you know, like, and I have to carve out time in my capitalist cucked schedule to, like, sit in a room and try to make sure that my body stays in shape. Because we're all eating garbage, and we're all being
what I'm saying
like
about
forced,
America
like, eat
as
this and
capitalism.
Buy that.
Yes,
and I'm not going to just
America
not blame myself,
example.
but you know, it's hard. All right.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you were to be in a history class or whatever, like aliens talking about whatever, however you want to say it, like this is an example of capitalism. People work all day long. They only have the option to, like, you have to make so many sacrifices to have a healthy life, like, because you're working all the time, because you only have so much money, because blah, 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 blah. This is what it looks like under a capitalist system. This is how the majority, by the numbers of people, have to live their lives.
And we have it
not
good compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It makes me sad for Americans. It makes me really sad thinking about how much we don't have and, like, how much we think that we do. Like, it's really, I pity us.
Because capitalism can
suck me from the back.
But
exactly.
Don't quote me on that, though.
Okay, anyway. But, well, it's been over an hour. We should just wrap it up. Do you have anything to add? Oh,
nope.
I thought it'd be funny to bring it up in the middle of the podcast, and I think that's how we veered off into blathering territory, which is nice. But you're coming over in a couple days, right? Right? So maybe we'll record another podcast in person. We'll have like 2 in a week.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Our listener will be so excited. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kelsey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, so
Kelsey
before we
listens
even, never mind. I'll re-listen to this while I'm editing it. I was like, can you name the thing that we said would be the title of the episode?
I was thinking about it earlier, and it
Burger
is...
Boss.
No.
Oh, darn, it wasn't that?
No. It was something, though. It sure was.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what we forgot last week? I can't believe it. We didn't shout out our Lord and Savior, R.M. Brown.
What?
Yeah.
I'm
almost positive we didn't.
Cancel him.
Yeah.
That's because you're an honorless, lying little turd.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Arun Brown.
Oh, I know R.M. Brown.
That's because you're an honorless, lying little turd.
Oh, well, we can give him a double shout out.
Not good.
I need to cut out some more of him talking. We should just have a full RM soundboard. And then if he ever finally
just be, like,
comes
having a
across
conversation
it,
with him.
That's what I want to do. I want to cut a bunch of...
You know what he would be like? He would be like, oh, God!
Oh, God!
He
He is cold, hollow, and violent. Not good.
But yeah, I want to be able to cut a soundboard of just a few things that he says, and then try to get on his show and talk to him in his voice using a soundboard. Mm-hmm. So
that would be really funny.
That's because you're an honorless, lying little turd.
Oh, God!
Yeah, but either way, you know, when you, I don't know. If you really go back into the podcast, you just think,
what is this? Just a couple guys having a conversation? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
No.
You know what? Creativity to me is just like, it's like a bird, like a friendly bird that embraces all ideas, and just like shoots out of its eyes all kinds of beauty.
Okay, and that'll wrap it up. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.